What is up, world? You are in tune to Marvelous Talk. And of course, you got your player partners here with you tonight on this beautiful night. Big G, what's popping, man?
Man, it's cold, man. That's all I know. The OHIO is COLD.
Oh,
So it's the OHIO is COLD, man. So I'm trying to bundle up, but I just gotta get that Marvel thing in, man. It's just too much right now.
oh
With
my
all
God.
these deep cuts and stuff, throwbacks we're getting, it's just too much.
Bro, it's just too much, isn't it, man? It's too much we got going on. But man, look, before we get into this, man, we're gonna definitely get into this. And look, you guys, we are definitely here. We want to tell you, if you like the content and you love what we're doing, make sure you like and subscribe. Definitely tell us how we're doing. Let us know if you are loving the content. Like it on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Definitely, there'll be some nice giveaways at some point, and you want to check that out. But man, look, we got a lot to get into. One of the most exciting things this week, definitely, that we ran into, man, is Marvel Studios filed an LLC for Daredevil. Man, I'm excited. We already, Big G pointed this out, man. Big G pointed out that we already got Daredevil, and we didn't get a variant of him. We got Charlie Cox, the real Charlie Cox, right?
Yeah.
So we got Charlie Cox and Spider-Man. We got Kingpin, the real Kingpin, not a variant of him. We got him in Hawkeye. So, man, I mean, Big G, tell me how excited you are, man, and tell them what the name is and why we think that this is Daredevil. Just talk to him for a minute.
Well, the issue is that Marvel filed two LLCs officially today. And anytime, and just to give you guys a backdrop, anytime Marvel files an LLC, every individual movie and or TV show is its own company. So like when you see all these production companies and everything popping off with Marvel, Thor is his own company. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier series is its own company. Loki is its own company. They all fit up underneath the branch or the head of Marvel, but each production is its own thing, right? So that's just to give those who don't really know that much about how the business works with the industry. Each movie set, each TV show is its own thing. So Marvel today filed two LLCs. One of them's LLCs was Productivity Pie or Productivity Production Pie, and you can't really tie the movies or a TV show to that yet as far as names, because in the past Marvel has had post-production stuff that lined up with what the actual title of the show is. But the LLC they filed today that we think for sure is this guy who's over my shoulder where it says coming soon Daredevil is Extremely Dangerous Post-Production. So if you know anything about Matt Murdock, the character Matt Murdock is the most dangerous man on the planet. That's for all you comic book heads and comic people out there. Matt Murdock is a dangerous man. So why would they have Extremely Dangerous as an LLC for a production name if it not be for Daredevil? Now, is this going to be a TV show? Is this going to be a movie? We don't know. But we do know that Charlie Cox, who plays a Daredevil, has already been mentioned in name, title, and actually had a screenshot. We already know the Kingpin is tied to this. So I think it's a big production, because what I really do believe is they're bringing Hell's Kitchen to the big screen, and I think that's what the whole reboot, for you guys who are Spider-Man fans, I think that's what the whole reboot was for Spider-Man, is that they rebooted him because they're going to do him as an Earth-based hero, not so much as an Avenger, and bring out that whole Hell's Kitchen and aspect of all the criminal and superhero stuff that goes on in New York City.
And you got to think about it, G. I mean, Hell's Kitchen and Queens right next to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, it's about time. I think it's about time. And I think it's only a matter of time that we're going to see, you know, a live action Daredevil. And I'm excited about it, man. I mean, I literally feel like that, okay, we got the same Matt Murdock, which I think he's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we got the same Charlie Cox.
Mm-hmm.
We got the same Kingpin. I think he's excellent as Kingpin. I think we're gonna have to do some more animation to him a little. But I think, you know, hey, this was good from what we got. And we got Echo. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we got a lot of material, source material to make Daredevil really, really good. But man, I'm gonna tell you, this made me so hyped. It got me so pumped. And then definitely we lost 2 series this year. Also, let's tell them about that too, G.
Well, Marvel has stopped production because they was going to try to push the envelope and hurry up and push in What If 2, season 2 for this year and have it like up and running. And they slowed it down. They said, that's just a little bit too much, right? And then they also slowed down on one of the other like highly anticipated series that was coming to Disney Plus. So by them doing that is telling you that they're trying to lay this thing out from a big picture standpoint and not go so fast, because I really do believe that if Marvel really starts mashing the gas and getting it in front of everything, what'll happen is they'll lose the viewership that they're trying to build. You got to remember, there's a whole series of people that's out there that really doesn't know anything about Marvel except for those big time characters. So now they have to build like the groundwork stuff. So it makes sense, you know, because from what I understand too, the reason why they did it is based on that title that you see across the bottom of our screen. I'm not going to ruin it, but when I'm telling y'all, I done been down here in the rabbit hole and read some stuff about plot leaks for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And if this stuff is true, man, they needed to slow up, because what they're about to do is just going to cause all kind of havoc, man.
So that's a perfect segue here, man, to really talk about what it is that we need to talk about in that aspect and from that vantage point. Think about this, bro. You have a whole multiverse that we haven't really explained so much. We tried to with Loki, and I don't think people got it with Loki at all. I don't think people really gravitated to it and accepted it in like, okay, the multiverse. And there's so many layers to it that literally, if you don't really understand the layers, you're going to be lost, because things will move fast in a multiverse. It has to, because there's so many. Think about the mirror dimension that Doctor Strange can go to, and he put Spider-Man into this whole thing. It's a lot like that, in the sense that these dimensions fold on top of each other. So there's multi-angles and multi-levels you get through. And get this, the variants were explained in Loki, that there were different variants of people inside of each multiverse. So if you think about it from your perspective, you exist, and from how Marvel is saying, you exist in different capacities and different universes. So in this Prime universe, I'm me. In another universe, I may be somebody else with the same face, same name. Another universe, somebody else, same face, same name. Look different. You know what I mean? But it's all different variants of me, right? So the reason why we're explaining this is that the deep dives are coming. We have to kind of set the precedent. That's why you need characters like America Chavez. That's why he needs people like my girl Wanda Maximoff. He needs people like them who can transcend and function throughout multiverses, right? He can himself, but hey, he need help. You know what I'm saying? He needs help, totally. So
but you know, the deal is too, Mod, is that the multiverse has always been a concept that existed in the Marvel comics, and I'm talking way back in the 60s and the 70s. You know, when you start seeing, I really do believe this is going to go somewhere that a lot of people don't believe. I think you're going to see the Squadron Supreme or the Squadron Sinister, you know, because I think eventually you're going to get characters like Hyperion and those guys coming to the Marvel universe because they're so much of a big seller, right? And so once this multiverse thing, they lay down the groundwork on this multiverse thing, like how they did in the comic book back in the 60s and the 70s. I think now you have the ability to, you know, once a character is deceased or something happens, or if there's a contract issue, you just write them off and write in somebody else new. But at the same time, it gives you the ability to add depth to some of the pre-existing characters you already had. You know, so that's why I really do believe that they have to go this way. And they're also erasing like some history stuff with all that happened with Fox and 20th century movies and Universal Studios and all the other things that they just laid eggs on as far as Marvel production.
Laid eggs. I mean, total eggs. So yeah, I mean, and that being said, you have some things out here that are already, that we already know about Doctor Strange and the multiverse. One being that, you know, he's going to involve Wanda Maximoff. We also know that he's not the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
We also have seen in the fact that, you know, you have a evil, quote unquote, Doctor Strange, a Doctor Strange who is power driven, but he's power driven by hurt. You know, once again, that's why him and Wanda relate so well, because it was Wanda's trauma that caused Wanda to create a whole world. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, and it's,
what we know, bro, is that What If series is canon. That's what we know.
Right.
So we saw a variant of Doctor Strange.
There we go.
That was canon. So, and we've already seen the trailer, and we don't know if that's the same one, but he looked real similar. So that's what we know. We know that we're going to get at least one variant. I believe we're going to get more than one variant, but that's just me. You know, I don't want to ruin it or spoil it for anybody. I believe we're going to get more than one variant of Doctor Strange.
I honestly think you're going to see a lot with Doctor Strange. It's one of those things that where, man, when you start to think about the depth and the width of where we can go in the it's madness.
Yeah.
So it's not supposed to be like some simple thing. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be one thing, one bad. It's multi-layered. And he set the precedent. See, we started talking about the multiverse really from Spider-Man Far From Home. Because
no, go ahead. I'll tell you.
Well, think about it. Wanda, we got Far From Home before we got Wanda in WandaVision.
Yeah.
Right. And but if Spider-Man was like, the multiverse is real.
Right.
Remember?
But if you go back where the actual first mention of the multiverse and different dimensions, different pocket dimensions, was in Thor Dark World. In Thor Dark World, they started talking about the ether being able to exist in different dimensions, so then that way they could plunge all existence into darkness, right? They were talking about different worlds, different segues. They talked about the 9 realms. They talked about the 9 realms not being infinite. They talked about it being different pockets that the ether could break into and plunge all existence into darkness. So, you know, and I mean, we could talk about it now because most people have seen Eternals, right? If you go back and you watch the beginning run of the Eternals, which is after everything, they get to talk about in the beginning. And then Azor gives you this whole thing about how they create universes and all whatever else, and suns and galaxies and all whatever else. So I don't trust them Celestials. So I think that they're tied into this whole multiverse thing too. But that's just me, you know.
Bro, look, listen, when I tell you you can't trust it, as far as you can throw them Celestials, you shouldn't trust them at all. You know what I'm saying? They done been lying to everybody. They lying. I mean, hey, lying is part of their native tongue. You know, jokers just tell a lie, and it is what it is.
Right.
But when you think about it, and this is the reason, this is where I was going. I drove down this street for a reason. I don't want people to be lost coming into Doctor Strange. I don't want them to be like, yo, what is this? Like, we got all of this stuff going on and I don't understand it at all. Like, I'm lost because people were like that with WandaVision. And this is going to be the same kind of pace WandaVision is going to have. It's not going to be as kooky, but it's not going to be as straightforward as you think it's going to be. It's going to be multi-layered, multifaceted, but it's going to be entertaining because there's going to be characters that you can identify with and from different places, right? And I think just like what G said earlier, they're going to incorporate some of these Fox mistakes and make some of this stuff canon. Now, all of it ain't going to be, but they're going to make some of this stuff canon. You watch what we tell you.
Right, but even Kevin Feige said it out of his mouth. He said that the actual first trilogy of Phase 4 was WandaVision, Spider-Man, No Way Home, and in the climactic end is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So what people really need to do is go back and watch WandaVision. If you have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home, you need to go see it. So then that way, when Doctor Strange comes, you're going to be able to piece that story together. Because those three stories are synonymous or in sequence with each other, but they also reach out and touch stuff like Loki. They reach out and touch Eternals. They reach out and touch Shang-Chi a little bit. So there's some stuff that you gotta piece it together. But the thread is WandaVision, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
And I believe you can't have those without What If too.
Right.
I believe you got to put What If in there as well, because What If being canon, I think that's if What If it's canon, right, you're gonna see a lot of the things in What If transpire and come to fruition. So when you ask me, I think you got to go back in there and see What If, and you got to check it out. I know it's a cartoon, and some of y'all, I don't know how y'all feel about watching cartoons as a grown person. I don't have a problem with it. I'm definitely gonna watch a cartoon. It is what it is. I just watched the We Don't Talk About Bruno cartoon. I forget what it's called. I just watched that, and it was good. I was like, that's great. I got Disney. I paid for it. Might as well watch it, right?
Most comic book heads and people that like the MCU and stuff like that, I don't think they'll have a problem watching like a cartoon type thing, man. It's just those that you got to remember. What If was the first thing they ever did in animation. DC is known for animation as far as the comic books and stuff like that is concerned. Matter of fact, DC's animation is way up here, but Marvel is just their first production of comic book was What If, and then we know we got comic book stuff coming. We got Spider-Man freshman year. We got I Am Groot. I've heard that Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special is going to be a tie-in to both cartoon and real life. So, they got a lot of little stuff coming up the road. And you got What If Season 2. So, and X-Men 97 that most people are just, they're just ecstatic about. That X-Men 97 is on the way.
Bro, like, for real, man. X-Men 92. Yo, it's going to be dope. It's going to be dope.
Hey, did you know that there's only one original character from the X-Men series that we loved and watched as kids that's not going to be able to do the voiceover because he passed? All the rest of the original voices from that cartoon will be tied to this one that's coming up, and they signed them all the contracts through Marvel. So I was hyped when I heard that, man.
I love it. I love it, man. I love it. And if y'all don't know something, man, when we were kids, that X-Men preached. They were preaching. Beast was saved for real. Like, it was funny, man.
Yeah, Nightcrawler too. Nightcrawler.
Hey, Nightcrawler saved for real. These jokers was preaching. I'm like, man, what is going on? Wait a minute. But no, seriously, man. That's why we wanted to kind of catch you guys up and get you guys to speed on Doctor Strange. We don't want to give you any Easter eggs that will take you to a place to where you're like, oh man, it ruined the movie. We just kind of want to get you ready and get you prepared, man, because there's a lot of things that if you're not prepared, it's going to take you, and you're going to need explanation for it.
Hey, I'm gonna say this though, man. I believe this. I believe that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness will be the greatest Marvel movie when it drops.
Better than Spider-Man?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you. From what I've read, and I'm not gonna ruin it for nobody, but I'm a deep diver, Easter egg. I live in a rabbit hole. Everybody knows that. So what I've read, what I've heard, what I've talked about, what some of the people that I know that are industry insiders that's dropping dimes, telling people like me that live down in the rabbit hole about what's going on, man. If and I'm gonna be honest, if the plot leak that I read, like, because I read like a full movie synopsis from a guy that saw a pre-screen of the movie, like before they do all the digital enhancements and all, the guy saw the movie. First of all, the movie's 3 hours long. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. Right?
Big G. Hold on. I gotta tell you something.
What?
Max said that Ben Affleck is always his Daredevil.
Boo! Max,
and
come
then
on, man.
He said that you say that about every movie.
But Max, was I wrong about Spider-Man and No Way Home? I mean, when you think about it, top three, the only three that might get with it is Endgame, Infinity War, and Black Panther. It cracked all the rest of them. It cracked them. So
First
it's
of all,
up there.
I'm the one who told you that Spider-Man was either going to be break or bust. Now let's just go on and get that. I said it, break or bust.
Yeah.
And it was definitely it was break. It broke the internet and it broke movie sales in a pandemic, which is ridiculous.
It just went back to the number one box office selling movie again after it came out a month ago. Like, it's like right now at the box office, it's number one. It just jumped back up to number one. When do you see that? When do you see a movie be out for like a month or so? Right? We're talking about, that's got Star Wars connotation to it. That's the last time I ever heard of a movie like Star Wars E.T., where it was like number one for a minute, it dropped down, and then the next thing you know, it jumps back up to number one. Right?
Max said Eternal's gonna be the biggest movie. Big G 2021.
I said it, but you got to remember, Eternals didn't have the backdrop of being able to set it up from selling the story to people, right? We dealt Eternals, when it's all said and done, Eternals will be one of those cornerstone movies that you're going to go back and watch and be like, man.
Agreed. I've watched Eternals since it came out. I've watched Eternals at least 2 times. I think I started it a third time and didn't finish. I've watched Shang-Chi 3 times. Definitely. I think those movies are slept. I think Shang-Chi was really slept on.
Shang-Chi was great. Shang-Chi's
and I think it was a great movie. But if we had to, once again, if we got to put these movies, and we've done this before, Endgame is number one. I mean, I just don't see anything beating that. Spider-Man No Way Home's number 2, right? Black Panther's number 3.
Infinity War.
Civil War's number 4.
No, Infinity War.
Infinity Wars. I'm sorry. Yeah. I said Civil War, or did I say?
You said Thor Ragnarok.
I said Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok to me is one of them. And then I'm trying to think of. I'm processing what we had. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna bring Captain America: Winter Soldier in here for my number 5, man. For my number 5.
Well, mine still goes. I still go Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, Black Panther, Spider-Man No Way Home, Thor Ragnarok. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But my number 6, maybe Shang-Chi, is getting close to being up there. And Captain America Civil War was great too, man.
It was. So Max said, on a serious note, the Marvel movies are inside a box, like they don't go outside of a box. I feel like with Doctor Strange, his premise is to destroy the box and break minds. Agreed.
Max is on it. On it.
And then he said, "Shake my head. No love for Thor." No, Thor.
No.
What?
No, Max,
It was
Thor
garbage.
2, that's the one I got issues with, but that's just me. Thor 2.
Garbage. How garbage. Does that lead to the success of the movie? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think with you getting the opportunity to see and explore the multiverse, I think that opens up characters that you know and you love and that you had an affinity for. You get an opportunity to see them. It's our opportunity to kind of intertwine the worlds together, put them together, and allow that to actually be seen on the big screen in a Marvel movie. And I mean, it was no other way to do it, man. It was no other way to do it.
Well,
And
like we've been preaching forever, what they're doing is trying to fix the Fox and Universal mess ups. But the issue is too, and I'm glad they did it because because of Disney Plus, we're really getting 8 to 10 movies a year because these TV shows are really movies. What they filmed them all at once. They chopped them up a whole bunch of ways into episodes. But when you go and like after they played all of them, you can go and sit back, watch all of them, find out that, hey, look, this is actually a movie when you put them all together and run them all together, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting 8 to 10 movies really a year. So if they're going to keep pushing the envelope like that, we're going to be able to explore characters like, the deep dives that you're going to see, and which is, something I want to talk about here in a minute. A deep dive you're going to see with characters that they have to build because of how pivotal they are to build out the story of Marvel on the big screen. But that's just me too, man.
So Max says, not just a movie, Big G, about a 7-hour movie with so many intricacies. So yes, once you put all of them together, it's a 7-hour movie with a lot of intricacies. But listen, here's the deal about this, right? So, now we know we've got, these characters and a lot of these characters people done forgot about real fast, but we're gonna see them again, right? Well, just like we seen Elena again in Hawkeye, right? We saw her again. And Max, I know you got to see Hawkeye all the way through. I know. I think we talked about it. If that be true, but I do have to say Hawkeye had the worst ending of any Marvel product ever. Like that they don't need to do that ever again.
Well, I know you hated the musical, Mom, but the issue was they killed the true ending. You know that it's out there where they said actually how they was going to end it. But if they would have done it, it would have messed up what was going on forward. Right. So they had to kill it and then give us a little Christmas time thing and run a musical.
I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to see. I don't care if I hear that song ever again in life. I could do this all day.
I can do it all day.
Yeah. I don't want to see it. Okay, good. Max said he's all caught up. Yeah. Listen, so moving forward, we've got, some things that we're really, really, really excited about. Yeah. One of those things is She-Hulk. Me and Sean are very excited about She-Hulk, man. And, he listened to this. He said, facts trash. He said, facts is trash, but the musical number was Big Sean.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, God. Listen.
It was.
Anyway, we got She-Hulk coming, man. We got She-Hulk coming. And for those of you who are familiar with the character, there's some things that we're going to see and people we're going to see inside of She-Hulk. Right. One, we've already got, Professor Hulk that's going to be there, right? Yeah. He hasn't went back to his form of being, I think we have seen him.
So Mike, ask you this question. Isn't it interesting that at the end of Shang-Chi, he still has an arm in a sling? But in the trailer, we done seen him fully hulked out.
Fully hulked out.
Right.
Fully hulked out. Yeah. But he's Professor Hulk.
Right.
Because he's working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's Professor Hulk. So somewhere along the line, he knows how to change and go back and change and go back and then keep his facets about him. But there's a character that Big G wanted to talk about before we actually got and ended Marvelous tonight. But one of the things that I for the people who are just jumping on, I know y'all are looking for it. There is Daredevil in production. We have a Marvel sighting where they formed the company,
Yeah.
and the company that they formed was called what? G.
Extremely Dangerous Productions,
Extremely dangerous.
LLC.
That is your boy Daredevil.
The
Marvel
most
does this with every movie that they have. They won't, because they know that people are watching. Every movie is a company form, and so they know that people are watching for it. They will use other things to offset or not to give you any clues to what it is. Now, extremely dangerous. Come on, what else can it be? We've already
the
got
most the
Charlie
most
Cox.
dangerous man in the world, the
Yeah,
man
we've
with no
already got
fear.
Charlie Cox in Spider-Man. We've
Yeah.
already got Kingpin in Hawkeye. So, man, I'm gonna tell you who else is extremely dangerous.
Right. I
Got to
mean,
be Daredevil.
Daredevil's comic book thing is the man with no fear.
Yeah,
Right. And anything that you talk about, when you talk about people always say the most dangerous person is a person who's not scared of nothing.
yep.
So the man with no fear, Extremely Dangerous Productions. Come on, man. Everybody knows it's Daredevil.
Got to
man.
be Daredevil. Got to
Yeah.
be Daredevil. Now, Sean, talk to us about this character from She-Hulk and tell us why he's important. Talk to us about this character.
All right, so this is not no made up stuff. This ain't like from a deep dive rabbit hole. This is actual confirmation through the Marvel production company. They have stated that a character that'll be big on the She-Hulk production is a deep dive, deep cut Marvel character or actual Avenger superhero by the name of Jack of Hearts. Any of you guys that know comic books, you know a little bit about Jack of Hearts if you read the Avengers run in the 70s. But Jack of Hearts is pivotal as far as expanding or exploring out what's going on the earth with after the snap, the blip, and everything else, right? So Jack of Hearts, his real name is Jack Hart, right? He is he's a alien. He has an alien mom, and his dad had a mutagen that he was sprayed with, right? Which everybody's saying that's where Miss Marvel's going. She's not going to be an inhuman. She's going to be a mutant. She's going to have mutagen ways to get her powers, sort of like the stone, like how Captain Marvel got. So we already got aliens in our series. We got the Skrulls, we got the Kree, and I'm quite sure they're going to introduce other type aliens, right? So you got that. So that's there. But then for his dad to be a mutagen, and then for him to have developed his powers that way, says a lot about Jack of Hearts to start out with. The second thing is that Jack of Hearts was the first zombie from the Marvel series. See, a lot of people don't know that the big thing that happened in the comics and Marvel over the last 10 years is Avengers not assembled, but disassembled. How it all kicked off was Ragnarok, who was actually a variant or a clone of Thor, killed a certain character, right? And then afterwards, the next big death, the next big thing was Jack of Hearts in zombie form killed Scott Lang, who was Ant-Man, who represented the other side, right? So, but you had to set him up as a character first. How he got set up as a character is he had committed some crimes when he was an Avenger, and he got defended by She-Hulk in a court of law. So if this be true with the Jack of Hearts coming into the confirmation that he's going to play a big role in the upcoming She-Hulk series. And also, I got to tell you this too. His uniform, his armor and everything runs in conjunction with the ebony blade from Black Knight. His stuff comes from medieval times. So Jack of Hearts also has some crossover stuff with Black Knight. So, you can see where all of this stuff's going, Yeah.
He said, I hate to. Max said, I hate to agree with Big G, but Jack of Hearts is that guy. So, you got some people out.
His power base, he's also earth-based and space-based. He can breathe out in the space, and he don't need no suit or no nothing like that. So he can go out in outer space and he can come back to the earth. You know, he can do stuff like that. So he ties space-based stuff to Earth-based stuff. So Jack of Hearts, man, I'm telling you, for them to come out and announce that how big of a role or a character he's going to be, that's huge, man. That's huge. Huge.
I think it's big. I think it's big. I also think what we talked about last week was big as well. The with Moon Knight and the whole group that he's running with, give them their name again.
What are you talking about?
The Sons of
The Sons of Midnight. The Sons of Midnight. Yeah, man. Yeah. There ain't no ifs, ands, buts about that. Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, Blade, Doctor Strange, they all gonna be teamed up on one squad, man. The Sons of Midnight is coming.
The thing that I think is
Black Knight, you know,
I think it's really good that we're bringing all of these out, right? But the thing that I think people are really they sleeping on, and I was talking to somebody about this earlier, and they were like, Dracula. Marvel has a Dracula, you guys. Yeah. They really have a Dracula. Why you think they got a Blade? Yeah. There has to be a Dracula if there's a Blade.
Yeah, you know because Blade's mom was bitten by a vampire who was under the care and wear of Dracula. So, you know.
So being that there has to be a Dracula, people are like, man, I never heard of Dracula in Marvel. Like, that's wild. But Dracula's a big deal in the Marvel universe.
Hey, even this, we already know that it's a production that's already coming. There's going to be a Werewolf by Night Christmas special. It's going to be a 3-part series.
And Werewolf by Night is a part of what?
The Sons of Midnight.
He's a part of the Sons of Midnight. Yeah.
He's also a member of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Right? Because they have a covert operation team called the Howling Commandos, which is Ramatut, y'all know Ramatut is the Mummy, Frankenstein's monster, Werewolf by Night, Blade, Man-Thing. They're all part of this group called the Howling Commandos. And we also, this is the thing too, we also know that Kevin Feige has already said that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is going to be a scariest movie. It's going to set up a lot of deep cut stuff, like spiritual, demonic, and angels and all whatever else. So we know that's coming, right? So why would they not explore all of that just to wrap up another part of the market?
Well, I mean, like I said, you can't have Blade without it, right? It's one of those things where everybody loves Blade because of Wesley and the job that Wesley did. I love Blade because of that too, right? But at the same time, Blade's whole story is centered around, him being a daywalker, right?
He's a vampire hunter.
And he's a vampire hunter because of what happened to his mother. And, a Whistler got him, and Whistler helped him to beat his habit. His habit just happened to be blood. It wasn't crack. You know what I'm saying?
And also in some of the movies, we've already had mention of vampires. That was in Eternals. Kingo said, "Oh, my dude thought I was a vampire for all these years."
Yeah,
they've already said it in Falcon and Winter Soldier. They got to talking about vampires and all. So they're setting this stuff up. They're telling you that this stuff exists.
It exists.
It's all from the Darkhold. It's all from that Darkhold, which is that book that Wanda Maximoff had.
And she opened. That's why you had your girl telling her you don't know what you done did. You know,
Agatha Harkness. Harkness,
who we have not seen the last of. But so to kind of tie this all in a nice little pretty bow, and I wanted everybody to get this. Understand we are going to a deeper, darker version of Marvel. So when you start seeing this happen, don't be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, the superheroes that we know and we love. Yeah, they're not as deep and dark as the ones that we're about to get, but they're telling a whole story. So if they're giving you your characters, but they got to kind of put your characters in their world. If they didn't, it wouldn't make sense. And then, most people don't know that, Deadpool had to run in with Dracula as well. And we know that Deadpool is a part of the Marvel universe.
And
right?
Deadpool was also a Midnight Sun. He was also a member of the Midnight
Deadpool he finally handled Dracula once and for all. If you read the comic book, he's the one that put him to rest behind a girl. He took Dracula's girlfriend, and some stuff had to pop off, because Dracula wasn't too happy about that. Yeah. But realistically, like I said, man, and that came from the rabbit hole. I did a deep dive one day. I had to put on an oxygen tank because I was down there for a little bit. Man. And you breathe a little different down in the rabbit hole. You definitely do.
You get used to it, man. You get used to it.
Yeah, well, you've been down there longer than me. You know what I'm saying?
I live in the rabbit hole, dude.
You got a couch, you got a sofa, you got a phone down there. I ain't got none of that.
Hey, what I got is like a little secret entrance way, right? That all I got to do is just pop the door open and I jump in. I got access, man. I got an access panel. Well, a lot of cats don't have that.
I believe it. But man, listen, definitely that is this week's version of Marvelous, man. We gave you some updated news. We definitely gave you some inspiration and expectation for the Multiverse of Madness and Doctor Strange. If you like the content that you're hearing, make sure you like it on Facebook. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. We're definitely on Twitch, so you can check us out there. And make sure you just, man, like I said, give us a thumbs up. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know if you have any questions or anything that you want to know about Marvel. We're happy to answer that for you. We're definitely here. You leave it there. We'll get to it next week. Big G, do you got anything, man, that you want to say?
Yeah, man. I'm excited about our Saturday morning show, like the Saturday morning cartoon that's coming up this week. You guys, our Saturday morning show is a deep dive about Wanda Maximoff. You're going to learn some stuff about Wanda Maximoff that you didn't even know. Because I'm telling you, everybody wants to hurry up and get to Wolverine and the X-Men and all whatever else. You can't have it without Wanda Maximoff. So we're going to deep dive about Wanda on Saturday morning.
We're definitely going to get into some Wanda. And I tell you, I got some stuff to share. We got some stuff to share about Wanda. She is a pivotal character, the Scarlet Witch. But, man, you had it locked with your boys. Marvelous, man. We out of here. Thank y'all for hanging with us. Peace.